Chapter 1. Supermax Prison, the last worst place. They call themselves cowboys. They love to threaten us or deny us the simplest of requests. Some of them wake you up every hour throughout the night by shining a flashlight in your face, or throw flaming papers into your cell as a pretext for spraying you down with a fire extinguisher. Then there are the meals served with feces and urine in the food trays, and faces smashed into concrete walls, handcuffs clamped so tight that wrists and ankles are left lacerated and bruised, leg shackles that cut flesh to the bone when men are forced to run, and when we fall to the ground, we are kicked, hit, and slammed some more. You learn to stay out of their way, except for the ones who just want to torture us no matter what, the ones who get their kicks that way. And of course you have to watch out for the inmates because most of them are totally nuts, because they've been locked up here for years, and this place is designed to drive you crazy. Anonymous inmate at ADMAX, Florence, Colorado. Welcome to the United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, ADMAX, in Florence, Colorado. The most secure federal prison in the country, Florence is specifically designed and uniquely qualified to keep every occupant in nearly total solitary confinement for his entire sentence. Gregory Scarpa Jr., 58, convicted of racketeering, will call this prison home until at least 2033, when he will be 84 years old. Gregory has been a resident of ADMAX since 1998. He lives alone in a steel and concrete box approximately the size of your bathroom. For 23 hours a day, day in and day out, year after year, Gregory is confined to this space. His meticulously soundproofed 7 by 9 foot cell includes a concrete slab and a thin mattress for a bed, a shower with a timer to conserve water and prevent flooding, a sink with no taps, just buttons, a toilet with a valve that shuts off the water automatically, a light fixture, an immovable concrete desk and stool, a polished steel mirror riveted to the concrete wall, and a 13-inch black and white television encased in plexiglass to prevent tampering. The lights are controlled by the guards. Frequently, they are left on throughout the night, leaving the prisoner disoriented and sleep-deprived, and thus keenly aware that he has forfeited his freedom, and that he is, in many respects, nothing more than an animal. Motion detectors and cameras track his every move. 1,400 remote-controlled steel doors modulate his infrequent journeys throughout the facility. 12-foot-high fences rimmed with concertina wire help ensure that he'll never take an unapproved vacation. 3 times a day, like clockwork, small, tasteless meals are slid into his cell through a slot in the wall. You eat because you need to keep up your strength, but at night you dream about a thick steak or a plate of spaghetti or even a box of cookies, says Gregory. I remember when I got a picture someone took of my mother in front of a tray of cookies, and all I could think about were the cookies. You see pictures of food on the TV and you begin to drool. You see beautiful women or happy families on TV, and you try not to cry, because although you fear you will never be able to hold a woman or a child in your arms ever again in your life, you have to be tough to survive. Inmates have almost no physical contact with anyone. Corrections officers, for example, approach inmate cells through a vestibule. Bars separate the vestibule from the solid steel doors of the cell, providing a second barrier and allowing the COs to safely handcuff inmates before removing them from their cells for transport or exercise. As with food, mail and laundry are delivered through a slot in the steel bars. Meals are either typical American diner fare, casseroles, hamburgers, and blue plate specials, or foods conforming to almost all religious restrictions, no pork, and abundance of beans and vegetables. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims are afforded certain courtesies, such as taking their meals in the evening hours, but these are rare exceptions. From the prison nerve center, officers and other staff maintain control through the use of a wide array of sophisticated electronic surveillance equipment. Doors are opened and closed by remote control, and almost always from a safe distance. Corridors are lined with cameras and microphones, making it almost impossible for an inmate to escape the watchful eye of prison administrators. The goal here is not rehabilitation. The goal is confinement, punishment. The safety of staff and officers is paramount at all times. Gregory Scarpa, Jr. is 5 feet 6 inches tall with a thick, muscular build, gray beard, and an assortment of tattoos. Though short in stature, he is a physically impressive man. Prematurely bald, he no longer sports the rather conspicuous and obvious toupee he wore in his youth. And yet there is an undeniable sadness in his eyes, something in his demeanor that suggests nothing so much as regret. He passes the endless hours exercising in his cell, watching TV, and writing long letters to his 4 children, Corey, Diane, Gregory III, and Maria, at 20 his youngest. He says that he attempts to be a father to them through daily letters. To date, however, he has rebuffed their overtures to visit. He says he would love to hold his children, to feel their touch and to hear their voices, to feel their breath against his cheek. But even if they were permitted to visit, there is no assurance they would be allowed any sort of intimacy, and the longing he feels, the sadness that comes with isolation, is offset by the pain he imagines they would feel if they saw him in this cell, chained and shackled, their encounter mitigated by a plexiglass barrier.